Hi guys, welcome to another video with me, Clarice, and this is the third video in my second series of the Flower Color Guide book. In today's video, we are going to be learning to paint this cute and delicate little, I don't know, leaf, flower, and it's called Astilbe. I do believe they come in a white, but I am going to do it in this cute little baby pink because obviously I love pink, and I've got tons of pink sort of left over in my palette, so I'm going to be just using leftover pinks. I would suggest if you've got the White Nights, then you could probably use like a very watered down version of the Carmine or even the Quin Rose, really. And then for the branches, I'm going to be using most likely the Umber or the Mars Brown. One of those two browns should be good enough. And then for the green, just use like a chromium oxide. And for brushes, I am using my miniature brush by Zen Art Supplies, and it's the number 1. I'm also going to keep the Princeton number 6 handy, or if you have a number 4, that works as well, just in case it is needed. I've got 2 little cups of water or bowls of water. I've got a little dabbing sort of square cloth. And for my paper, I'm using my Baohong paper from Stationery Pal. And that's it. So we are ready to begin. I'm going to start off by showing you guys the basic strokes or the pattern that is needed for you to get this effect. All right, so this effect right there. So let's get on that. All right, so I've zoomed in because I realized that you couldn't quite see it as perfectly. So I'm going to start this over again just so you have a better idea of what this is. Okay, let me use, just to show you the pattern, I'm going to use the thin brush first, and I'll use a darker color just so you can see that. So I'm just going to get some color from the color cake. And this is the pattern we're going for. We're doing a little bit of this kind of fishbone pattern. I think that's what it's called, fishbone, at the very, very top. And then as you kind of go lower, you can extend and add that fishbone sort of pattern to the extensions. And as you're going along, you're just extending it to add more of that. Now this is obviously a tad darker than what I've done up there, but this is typically the light shade that you need, because these guys will be more of a enhancement to your compositions than anything else. So literally all you're doing is you're adding these extensions or hands or branches, whatever you want to call them, and you're just going on with that little tiny detail using the tip of your brush. So you're making sure that it's not laden with water at the end. You got a nice fine tip. So you can just go ahead and using the brush, you're just illustrating this as you go along. And the thinner and tinier the details, the better it is for you or for the end results. And then as you keep on going, you just kind of keep on enhancing it. And if you look at the reference image, they kind of almost get fluffier. So it's almost like these extensions have their own extensions, which make it fluffier as you go lower. So you can try that, or keep it simple and just keep it thin without having those extra extensions. Try both ways. Challenge yourself if you feel like this is not something you can do, because it's literally just doing a line and then several lines in there. Now, I did mention about the color and the dampness and the timing and all those different things in the beginning. So what you need to pay attention to is, if you wanted this sort of effect, which is very, very light, this is also very light, you might enjoy this better. In that case, you can just use the same color and kind of just go along. And I've not really added any additional color. But if you wanted to have a river of flowing darkness in it, this is what you can do. Get some additional color on your brush. I'm just gonna get some color. And then find the area where it's still damp, and you just add little droplets of color. And you'll get that nice little flare, and you immediately see that nice little transition happening. And I've only done it over here because this is the only area that's damp. If I try and do this here, look what happens. The reason this is happening is because it's dried up. So there's nowhere for the color to sort of disperse and go off. Same thing at the top. So this is why I was saying, making sure that things are still damp when you go in to do this is integral. Otherwise you will lose out on this effect. All right, so that's pretty much all there is to creating these guys. Let's start on the Baohong paper and see where this takes us. All right, so here's the Baohong paper. Let's go ahead and start. I'm going to start off with the number 6, just like I mentioned I would initially. And here we go. I'm going to make this bigger so you can see it better if you found it harder during the demo. So in the beginning, we're keeping this very loose and light and fun. So I'm just going to start off with a couple of dots. And I'm staggering it to get that fishbone sort of effect. Then as we go lower, I'm kind of extending to the sides to get more of that. I'm pulling it down. And we're doing the same sort of extensions and adding these these strokes in. I'm going to go ahead, pull this down some more, and do the same thing out this way. So usually the strokes below go a little bit wider or more outward. And notice how my lines are not straight, we're loose. We're easy, we're keeping it fun and light, we're allowing the color to kind of just go where the strokes are being laid down. And again, at this point, if you want to add like a semblance of another color or the darker pink, just go in and add little dabs. You can do it halfway, so this way you don't miss out. Now this is like more of an orangey in there, but I wanted to be able to show you guys what that would look like, and so that's why I added like an orange. So now these, again, I'm keeping it light. I'm adding more extensions to these. And notice how I'm just getting so much looser the more I carry on in my illustration of this, or my brush illustration of this pretty leaf flower. And I'm really not paying too much attention to the actual image itself. I have the idea of what needs to be repeated, and I'm just going for it. And then you can even add additional enhancements in between here just to sort of fluff things up. And we move on. You don't even have to add the actual line in there. You can sort of just extend and continue painting in these extensions with the leaves. And that's pretty much all there is to it. So again, you can enhance it if you want to in there, but you don't have to if you don't want to. It's a preference. I would say if you're starting this out, if you're a beginner, just take it easy for the first time and then challenge yourself to go in and add the extensions. It also really depends on how loose you actually want to keep your work, or if you actually want to give it a lot of detail, loose detail, that is. So it's really a preference. All right, so this is the whole thing. I'm gonna fast forward through this so we can come back and then do the leaves and stuff and then finish off. So I will be right back. All right, so fast forwarded through all of that, we have got a nice full body, and at this point we can go in with the brown, and for that I'm just going to simply use my miniature number 1. I also wanted to make a note and say, if you feel like the number 6 is too thick for you to do something this fine, then use the miniature, and this is all the brush you will need to do the whole thing. So getting some of my, I'm going to use burnt umber. I'm going to get some burnt umber. I'm just going to mix it ever so slightly on the side here. And then let's go ahead and add the twig. And what I'm going to do is just very kind of lightly in between adding a couple of dabs of this brown, so it looks like it's kind of peeking out from some of the nice pinky bit that we have. And then it kind of branches off into like some green. So I'm going to get some of my, mixing some of my green in with this to get it nice and mixed or blended in here. Just going to go ahead and go all the way down, and then we're extending this into leaves, and I just want to get a nice kind of 70 to 30% sort of thing happening for the leaves. So here we go, extending from here all the way out. I move things over a little bit so you could see the leaves if you don't have the book for reference, and as you can see, the leaves are quite sort of slender and long. So I'm mixing now a little bit of both, like the green and the brown. And I'm just gonna go ahead and add an extension and then adding like one stroke to get a nice loose leaf. And if it's too light, just go in with a slightly darker hue and add another stroke in. Same thing here. I'm keeping these loose, less detail in comparison to what's happening up there, and fun, so that it is not too overwhelming or overpowering for those who are new. And again, to enhance the look of the leaves, just go in with a darker green while it is damp, just like we added enhancements over here, and just add that in. Now my green seems to be very, very light. And that's okay. I will leave it so. And then let's just do, I'm going to do one more extension of leaves. And add a little bit of brown for this one. And something like that. And again, just use your image for a reference, or if you don't have the book, you can absolutely get, just Google it online and find an image reference for this. And that's it, really, guys. That's all there is to it. So super easy technique, fun thing to do. especially if you're kind of just starting out in watercolor, you're trying to learn the ropes. Something simplistic, it would make a great single piece as well. And just get used to you using the color for blending and also a little bit of brush control, and then also timing yourself to get things in at the right time for some smooth blending. And that's it, guys. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments what you thought, and hit that like button and hit the subscribe button if you like this video, as it really does help my channel grow. And if you do end up doing this, please do tag me on social media, Instagram and Facebook. Everything is listed below. And as per usual, if you liked any of the products I've been using, or you are interested in finding out where you can get them, they're all listed in the comments or in the description below as well, not the comments. Yeah, and that's it. So stay tuned for the next video in this series, and we'll chat soon. Thanks, guys. Bye.